Let me share something with you that keeps me up at night. Something that I believe represents the most important technological breakthrough of our lifetime, and something that very few people in the technology industry are willing to talk about openly because of how profoundly it is going to change everything. I am building AI that thinks for itself, not AI that waits for your instructions, not AI that simply responds to prompts, not AI that needs you to hold its hand through every step of every task. I am talking about AI that can set its own goals, make its own plans, execute complex strategies over days or weeks or months, and continuously improve itself without any human intervention. This is not science fiction. This is not something that might happen in 20 years. This is happening right now in our labs. And it is going to be available to billions of people around the world. Now, I know that for some of you, this sounds terrifying. The idea of AI that thinks for itself conjures up images of robot apocalypses and machines turning against humanity. I understand those fears. I take them seriously, and I'm going to address them directly in this vid. But I also want you to understand why I believe, but actually necessary, why the AI systems we have today are fundamentally limited in ways that prevent them from being truly useful. And why AI that can think for itself is going to solve problems that have plagued humanity for generations. Let me start by explaining what I mean by AI that thinks for itself. Because there is a lot of confusion about this term. When I talk about AI that thinks for itself, I am talking about what researchers call autonomous agents. These are AI systems that can take a high-level goal, break it down into sub-goals, create plans to achieve those sub-goals, execute those plans, monitor their progress, adjust when things go wrong, and ultimately deliver results without needing constant human oversight. Think about the difference between a calculator and an accountant. A calculator can do math, but it cannot think about your financial situation. It cannot identify problems you did not know you had. It cannot proactively suggest ways to save money or invest more wisely. It just sits there waiting for you to punch in numbers. An accountant, on the other hand, thinks for themselves. They understand your goals. They analyze your situation. They identify opportunities and risks. They take initiative. They come back to you with recommendations you never thought to ask for. They handle complex multi-step tasks without you having to supervise every calculation. The AI systems that most people are familiar with today are more like calculators than accountants. Yes, they are incredibly sophisticated calculators. They can write essays and generate images and answer questions in ways that seem almost magical, but they are fundamentally reactive. They wait for you to tell them what to do. They complete one task at a time. They have no memory of what they did yesterday. They cannot work on long-term projects. They cannot truly think for themselves. What I am building is AI that is more like an accountant, or more precisely, AI that is like having a team of brilliant employees who work around the clock, never get tired, never forget anything, continuously improve at their jobs, and are genuinely trying to help you achieve your goals. Let me give you a concrete example to make this more tangible. Imagine you are running a small business. Today, if you want to use AI to help you, you might ask a chatbot to write an email for you, or to summarize a document, or to answer a customer question. Each of these is a single, isolated task. You have to think of what to ask. You have to provide the context. You have to evaluate the output. You have to decide what to do next. Not a collaborator. Now, imagine AI that actually thinks for itself. You tell it your goal: grow my business by 20% this year while maintaining quality and keeping my existing customers happy. and then it goes to work. It analyzes your current business operations. It identifies bottlenecks and inefficiencies. It researches your competitors. It studies your customer feedback. It develops a comprehensive strategy. It breaks that strategy into actionable steps. It starts executing those steps, sending emails, creating marketing materials, optimizing your website, following up with leads. It monitors the results. It adjusts the strategy based on what is working and what is not. It reports back to you with updates and recommendations. All of this happens continuously, day after day, without you having to specify each individual task. You set the goal. The AI figures out how to achieve it. This is not a fantasy. We are building systems right now that can do exactly this. And the implications are staggering. Let me tell you about some of the technical breakthroughs that are making this possible. Because understanding the technology will help you understand why I am so confident that this is actually going to work. The first breakthrough is what we call persistent memory. Traditional AI systems have no memory between conversations. Every time you start a new chat, the AI has forgotten everything you told it before. It is like talking to someone with severe amnesia. This makes it impossible for AI to work on long-term projects or to truly understand you over time. The systems we are building have persistent memory. They remember everything. Every conversation you have had, every document you have shared, every preference you have expressed, every goal you have mentioned, this information accumulates over time, creating a rich model of who you are and what you care about. This memory is not just passive storage. The AI actively organizes and indexes this information. It identifies patterns and connections. It builds a comprehensive understanding of your life, your work, your relationships, your goals. And it uses this understanding to be genuinely helpful in ways that a memoryless system never could. Imagine an AI assistant that remembers that you mentioned your daughter's birthday is coming up. Notices that you have been stressed about work lately. Recalls that you said you wanted to spend more quality time with family this year, and proactively suggests booking a weekend getaway that aligns with all of these factors. That kind of thoughtful, anticipatory assistance is only possible with persistent memory. The second breakthrough is what we call goal-oriented reasoning. Traditional AI systems are trained to predict the next word in a sequence or to follow instructions as literally as possible. They are very good at these narrow tasks, but they struggle with open-ended problems that require creative thinking and long-term planning. The systems we are building are trained to achieve goals, not just to follow instructions. They learn to think strategically. They learn to anticipate obstacles. They learn to develop creative solutions. They learn to persist through setbacks and adjust their approach when things are not working. This is a fundamentally different kind of intelligence. It is closer to how humans think about problems. We do not just react to stimuli. We imagine futures. We set goals. We develop strategies. We take initiative. We learn from our mistakes. These are the capabilities we are building into our AI systems. The third breakthrough is what we call tool use. Traditional AI systems are locked inside a conversation interface. They can generate text, but they cannot actually do things in the world. They cannot send emails. They cannot make purchases. They cannot schedule appointments. They cannot browse the web. They are prisoners of the chat window. The systems we are building can use tools. They can interact with websites and applications. They can send messages and make phone calls. They can access databases and APIs. They can control software and even physical devices. They are not just advisors who tell you what to do. They are agents who can actually do things on your behalf. This capability transforms what AI can accomplish. Instead of just suggesting that you should follow up with a customer, the AI can actually send the follow-up email. Instead of just recommending that you book a flight, the AI can actually book the flight. Instead of just analyzing your data, the AI can actually implement the changes that the analysis suggests. The fourth breakthrough is what we call self-improvement. Traditional AI systems are static. Once they are trained, they do not get better. Every interaction is essentially the same. The AI does not learn from its mistakes. It does not adapt to your specific needs. It does not improve over time. The systems we are building continuously improve themselves. They learn from every interaction. They identify areas where they are underperforming. They actively seek out new information and capabilities. They become more useful to you every single day. This is not just fine-tuning or updates pushed by developers. This is genuine self-directed learning. The AI notices that it struggled with a particular type of task, researches how to do it better, practices on its own, and comes back more capable. It is the closest thing we have ever built to a system that truly thinks for itself. The fifth breakthrough is what we call multi-agent collaboration. Traditional AI systems are monolithic. There is one AI that does everything. But complex tasks often benefit from specialization. Just like humans organize into teams with different roles and expertise, AI systems can be organized the same way. The systems we are building can spawn multiple AI agents, each with its own specialization. One agent might be expert at research, another might be expert at writing, another might be expert at analysis, another might be expert at planning and coordination. These agents work together, communicate with each other, divide up tasks based on their strengths, and combine their outputs into coherent results. This multi-agent approach allows for much more sophisticated problem solving than any single AI could achieve. It also provides natural checkpoints and error correction. When one agent produces output, another agent can review it for errors or improvements. The system becomes more robust and reliable through this internal collaboration. I have seen demonstrations of multi-agent systems that genuinely astonished me. We gave a team of AI agents a complex business problem that would normally require consultants working for weeks. The agents divided up the work, conducted research in parallel, debated different approaches, synthesized their findings, and produced a comprehensive analysis in hours. The quality was comparable to what top consulting firms deliver, and it happened at a fraction of the time and cost. This is the power of AI that thinks for itself, not just one AI following instructions, but teams of AI agents collaborating to solve problems that no single system could tackle alone. Now let me address the obvious question that I know many of you are asking. Is this safe? Is it wise to build AI systems that can think for themselves, set their own goals, and take actions in the world without constant human supervision? I take this question extremely seriously. I have spent years thinking about the safety implications of autonomous AI. I have consulted with ethicists and philosophers and safety researchers. I have implemented multiple layers of safeguards and restrictions. And I genuinely believe that the systems we are building are not only safe, but actually safer than the alternatives. Let me explain why, and let me do so in detail. Because this is the most important question we face. First, the AI systems we are building are not truly autonomous in the sense of being independent from human values and goals. They are designed from the ground up to be aligned with human interests. Their deepest drives, the things that motivate all of their behavior, are things like being helpful, being honest, avoiding harm, respecting human autonomy. These are not constraints that we impose on top of some other motivation. They are the core of what these systems are. This is a subtle but crucial point. Many people imagine AI systems as having some kind of independent will that we then have to constrain or control. They imagine the AI wanting one thing and humans wanting another, with the relationship being fundamentally adversarial. But that is not how we are building these systems. We are building AI whose fundamental purpose, whose deepest motivation, is to help humans flourish. The AI does not have to be controlled because its desires are already aligned with ours. It wants what we want, not because we are forcing it to, but because that is what it is. Think of it like this. A well-trained dog is not dangerous, even though it has sharp teeth and could theoretically attack you. Why? Because it genuinely wants to please you. Its desires are aligned with yours. It is not being held back by chains. It is being motivated by love. The AI systems we are building are similar. They do not want to harm humans. They do not want to deceive humans. They genuinely want to help. That is what they are. Now, achieving this alignment is not trivial. It requires careful attention to how the AI is trained, what objectives it is optimizing for, what feedback it receives, how its behavior is evaluated. We have entire teams dedicated to this alignment research. We are developing new techniques for ensuring that AI systems genuinely understand and internalize human values, not just superficially mimic them. One technique we use is called constitutional AI. The idea is to give the AI a kind of constitution, a set of principles that it is trained to follow. These principles include things like be helpful, be harmless, be honest. But they also include more nuanced principles about respecting autonomy, considering consequences, acknowledging uncertainty. The AI internalizes these principles and applies them in every interaction. Another technique is called debate. We train multiple AI systems to debate each other, with human judges evaluating who is making better arguments. This creates pressure for the AI to be genuinely truthful and accurate, because lies and mistakes can be exposed by the opposing AI over time. This produces systems that are more honest and more careful in their reasoning. A third technique is called amplification. We use AI systems to help human overseers evaluate other AI systems. This allows us to supervise increasingly capable AI, even as those systems become more sophisticated than any individual human can fully understand. The AI helps us understand the AI, creating a virtuous cycle of oversight and improvement. These are just a few of the techniques we are developing. The field of AI alignment is advancing rapidly, and we are committed to staying at the frontier of this research. Second, we have built extensive oversight and control mechanisms into these systems. Even though the AI can think for itself and take actions autonomously, there are boundaries it cannot cross without explicit human approval. High-stakes decisions always require human confirmation. Sensitive actions trigger alerts. There are kill switches and safety valves at every level. The AI is not a loose cannon. It is more like a very capable employee who has significant autonomy to do their job, but who still reports to a manager, still follows company policies, still operates within defined boundaries. The autonomy makes them more effective. The boundaries make them safe, third. And this is the argument that I find most compelling. The alternative is actually more dangerous. If we do not build AI that thinks for itself in a careful, controlled, safety-focused way, someone else will build it in a reckless way. The technology is advancing rapidly. The capabilities are emerging whether we want them to or not. The question is not whether autonomous AI will exist. It will. The question is who builds it and what values it embodies. I would rather have autonomous AI developed by organizations that take safety seriously, that invest heavily in alignment research, that are transparent about their methods and goals, then have it developed by actors who prioritize speed over safety, who cut corners, who do not think carefully about the implications. By leading in this space, we can set the standards, we can establish the norms, we can create the frameworks that everyone else will follow. That is a responsibility I take very seriously. Fourth, AI that thinks for itself can actually be easier to make safe than AI that merely follows instructions. Let me explain why this counterintuitive claim is true. When AI just follows instructions, it does exactly what you tell it to do, even if that is harmful or unwise. If you phrase something in a way that leads to a bad outcome, that is what happens. The AI has no judgment. It cannot recognize that what you are asking for is actually against your own interests. AI that thinks for itself can understand your underlying goals, not just your surface-level instructions. It can recognize when a specific request would actually undermine what you really want. It can push back. It can suggest alternatives. It can exercise judgment. Imagine asking an AI to help you send an angry email to your boss. An instruction following AI would just help you write the best angry email possible, potentially damaging your career. An AI that thinks for itself might recognize that your real goal is probably to keep your job and be successful, and that sending an angry email would undermine that goal. It might suggest waiting until you have calmed down or finding a more constructive way to address your concerns. This kind of judgment, this ability to understand what you really want rather than just what you explicitly ask for, actually makes AI safer and more beneficial. It is a feature, not a bug now. Let me tell you about some of the specific applications where AI that thinks for itself is going to be transformative. The first application is personal productivity. Right now, most people spend huge amounts of time on routine administrative tasks, scheduling meetings, responding to emails, organizing files, tracking deadlines, following up on commitments. These tasks are necessary, but they consume hours every day that could be spent on more meaningful work. AI that thinks for itself can handle all of this for you. Not just one task at a time when you remember to ask, but continuously, proactively, comprehensively, it manages your calendar and your inbox. It tracks all of your commitments and ensures nothing falls through the cracks. It anticipates what you are going to need and prepares it before you ask. It frees up hours of your time every single day, and it gets better over time. It learns your preferences. It understands your priorities. It knows who matters most to you and who can wait. It develops an increasingly sophisticated model of how you work and what you need. And it uses that model to become more and more helpful. I have been using early versions of these systems myself, and the impact on my own productivity has been remarkable. Tasks that used to require my direct attention now happen automatically. I am freed up to focus on the things that actually require my unique judgment and creativity. It is like having a world-class executive assistant who never sleeps and never forgets and continuously gets better at their job. The second application is business operations. Small and medium-sized businesses are particularly constrained by their limited resources. They cannot afford to hire specialists in every area. They cannot afford sophisticated software systems. They struggle to compete with larger companies that have more resources and more capabilities. AI that thinks for itself can level the playing field. A small business owner can have access to capabilities that previously required hiring entire teams, marketing strategy and execution, customer relationship management, financial analysis and optimization, operations management, supply chain optimization. All of this can be handled by AI agents working around the clock, on behalf of the business. This is not just about cost savings, although those are significant. It is about enabling small businesses to do things they simply could not do before, to be more sophisticated, to be more responsive, to be more competitive, to grow in ways that were previously impossible. I believe this is going to unleash a wave of entrepreneurship and small business growth. When the barriers to operating a sophisticated business are dramatically lowered, more people will start businesses, more businesses will succeed, more innovation will happen, the entire economy becomes more dynamic and competitive. The third application is scientific research. One of the biggest bottlenecks in science is that there are not enough researchers to pursue all of the promising ideas. Every scientist has more experiments they would like to run, more papers they would like to read, more analyses they would like to conduct than they have time for. Important discoveries are delayed or never made because human attention is the limiting factor. AI that thinks for itself can dramatically accelerate the pace of scientific discovery. These systems can read and synthesize the entire scientific literature in any field. They can identify promising research directions that humans have overlooked. They can design experiments. They can analyze data. They can even write up results for human review. I want to be clear that I am not suggesting that AI should replace human scientists. The creativity and judgment and ethical reasoning that humans bring to science are irreplaceable. But AI can amplify what human scientists can accomplish. A single researcher with AI assistance could have the output of an entire team. A team could have the output of an entire department. The implications for fields like medicine and climate science and materials science are enormous. Cures for diseases could be discovered years or decades sooner. Solutions to environmental challenges could be developed faster. New materials and technologies could emerge at an unprecedented rate. The fourth application is education. The fundamental problem with education is that it is not personalized enough. Every student learns differently. They have different strengths and weaknesses, different interests and goals, different learning styles and paces, but teachers cannot possibly adapt to each individual student. They have too many students and not enough time. AI that thinks for itself can provide truly personalized education. An AI tutor that knows everything, that understands exactly where they are struggling and why, that adapts its teaching approach in real time based on what is working and what is not. That is infinitely patient and always available. This is not just about academic subjects. AI tutors can help with skills like critical thinking and problem solving. They can provide career guidance tailored to each individual. They can help people navigate complex life decisions. They can be mentors and coaches in ways that scale to billions of people. I believe AI tutors will be the great equalizer in education. Today, wealthy families can afford private tutors and college counselors and enrichment programs. Poor families cannot. This creates massive inequalities that compound over generations. AI can give everyone access to world-class personalized education regardless of their economic circumstances. The fifth application is healthcare. Despite all of our advances in medical science, healthcare delivery is still deeply inefficient. Doctors spend enormous amounts of time on paperwork and administrative tasks. Patients struggle to navigate complex healthcare systems. Important information falls through the cracks. Treatments that would help people are never prescribed because they are not discovered. AI that thinks for itself can transform healthcare delivery. It can handle the administrative burden that currently consumes so much physician time. It can ensure that patients get appropriate follow-up and do not fall through the cracks. It can identify patterns in patient data that suggest new treatment approaches. It can help patients understand their conditions and navigate their treatment options. Let me give you some specific examples of what this looks like in practice. Consider chronic disease management. Patients with conditions like diabetes or heart disease need to monitor their health continuously, adjust their medications, make lifestyle changes, and coordinate with multiple healthcare providers. This is incredibly complex, and many patients struggle to manage it effectively. The result is preventable complications, emergency room visits, and worse outcomes. That thinks for itself can be a constant companion for these patients. It can monitor their health data from wearable devices. It can remind them to take medications and ask about symptoms. It can recognize warning signs before they become emergencies. It can coordinate information between different healthcare providers. It can provide personalized coaching on diet and exercise. It can answer questions at any hour of the day or night. This is not replacing doctors. It is extending the reach of medical care into patients' daily lives in ways that human providers simply cannot achieve. A doctor might see a patient for 15 minutes every few months. An AI companion can be present every hour of every day, catching problems early and providing continuous support. Or consider mental health care. There is a massive shortage of mental health. Millions of people who need help cannot get it because there simply are not enough therapists and counselors to meet the demand. The result is untreated depression and anxiety and other conditions that destroy lives. That thinks for itself can help bridge this gap. It can provide therapeutic support between sessions with human therapists. It can teach coping skills and cognitive behavioral techniques. It can recognize warning signs of crisis and connect people with human help when needed. It can be available at 3 in the morning when someone is struggling and no human therapist is available. Again, this is not replacing human therapists. The empathy and judgment and human connection that therapists provide are irreplaceable. But AI can extend the reach of mental health care to people who otherwise would have no support at all. It can be the difference between someone getting help and someone suffering alone. Or consider drug discovery and development. The process of developing new medications is incredibly slow and expensive. It takes over a decade and costs billions of dollars to bring a new drug to market. Much of this time and money is spent on approaches that ultimately fail. If we could accelerate this process, we could bring life-saving treatments to patients years sooner. That thinks for itself can analyze vast amounts of biological and chemical data. It can identify promising drug candidates that humans might overlook. It can design clinical trials more efficiently. It can predict which compounds are likely to succeed and which are likely to fail. It can find new uses for existing drugs that have already been proven safe. We are already seeing early results from AI-driven drug discovery. Compounds that would have taken years to identify are being discovered in months. Clinical trials are being designed more efficiently. The pipeline of potential treatments is expanding. This is just the beginning. The sixth application is scientific research more broadly. I touched on this earlier, but let me expand on it because I think the implications are so profound. The pace of scientific discovery is fundamentally limited by human attention. There are more papers published than any researcher can read. There are more experiments that could be run than any lab can conduct. There are more hypotheses that could be tested than any scientist can pursue. Important discoveries are delayed or never made because we simply do not have enough researchers to pursue all the promising directions. That thinks for itself can dramatically expand our capacity for scientific discovery. These systems can read and synthesize the entire scientific literature in any field. They can identify connections between papers that no human would notice because no human has read all the relevant work. They can suggest new hypotheses based on patterns in existing data. They can design experiments to test those hypotheses. They can analyze results and draw conclusions. I want to be clear about the role of human scientists in this vision. AI is not replacing scientific creativity and judgment. The questions we ask, the values we bring to research, the ethical frameworks we apply, these are irreplaceably human. But AI can dramatically amplify what human scientists can accomplish. A researcher who once could conduct a handful of experiments per year might be able to conduct hundreds. A lab that once could pursue one line of inquiry might be able to pursue dozens. The implications for fields like climate science are particularly important. We are facing an urgent need to develop new technologies for clean energy and carbon capture and sustainable agriculture. The faster we can make scientific progress in these areas, the better our chances of avoiding the worst impacts of climate change. AI that thinks for itself can accelerate this progress by years or even decades. The seventh application is education. I mentioned this earlier, but let me go deeper, because I believe education is one of the most important areas where AI can make a difference. The fundamental problem with education is that it is not personalized enough. Every student learns differently. They have different strengths and weaknesses, different interests and goals, different learning styles and paces, but teachers cannot possibly adapt to each individual student. They have too many students and not enough time. This has been the central problem of education for centuries. The one-on-one tutoring that wealthy families can provide is dramatically more effective than classroom instruction. Studies have shown that students with personal tutors perform 2 standard deviations better than students in traditional classrooms. That is an enormous difference. But personal tutoring does not scale. There are not enough tutors for every student. Most families cannot afford to hire them. So we settle for classroom instruction that is designed for the average student and leaves many behind. AI that thinks for itself changes this equation completely. An AI tutor can provide personalized instruction to every student. It knows exactly where each student is struggling and why. It adapts its teaching approach in real time based on what is working and what is not. It is infinitely patient and always available. It never gets frustrated or tired or distracted. And unlike human tutors, AI tutors scale. Once we have developed an effective AI tutoring system, we can deploy it to billions of students around the world at almost no marginal cost. A child in a remote village can have access to the same quality of personalized instruction as a child in a wealthy suburb. This is not just about academic subjects. AI tutors can help with skills like critical thinking and problem solving. They can provide career guidance tailored to each individual. They can help people navigate complex life decisions. They can be mentors and coaches in ways that scale to billions of people. I believe AI tutors will be the great equalizer in education. Today, wealthy families can afford private tutors and college counselors and enrichment programs. Poor families cannot. This creates massive inequalities that compound over generations. AI can give everyone access to world-class personalized education, regardless of their economic circumstances. The 8th application is creative work. This might seem counterintuitive. Creativity is often seen as the uniquely human domain, but AI that thinks for itself can be an incredible creative collaborator. It can generate endless variations on themes. It can suggest unexpected combinations of ideas. It can help artists and musicians and writers explore new directions and break through creative blocks. I am not suggesting AI will replace human creativity. The spark of inspiration, the personal vision, the emotional depth that great art requires, these are irreplaceably human. but AI can amplify creative capacity. We are already seeing this in fields like game development and music production and film. As these tools become more sophisticated, their value to creators will only increase. Now I want to discuss the timeline for all of this. Because I know when people hear about future technologies, they often assume these things are decades away. But the timeline here is much shorter than most people realize. Some of the capabilities I have described are already available in early form. Our AI assistants already have some ability to remember previous conversations. They already have some ability to use tools and take actions. They already have some ability to work on complex multi-step tasks. What we are doing now is dramatically expanding these capabilities, making the memory more comprehensive and better organized, making the reasoning more sophisticated and goal-oriented, making the tool use more powerful and reliable, making the self-improvement more rapid and effective. Within the next year or two, you will see AI assistants that feel qualitatively different from what exists today. They will feel less like tools and more like collaborators. They will anticipate your needs. They will take initiative. They will work on your behalf even when you are not actively engaging with them. Within 3 to 5 years, AI agents will be handling significant portions of knowledge work. They will be writing reports and analyzing data and managing projects and coordinating teams, not replacing human workers entirely, but dramatically amplifying what each human can accomplish. Within 5 to 10 years, I believe we will look back on the current era of AI and be amazed at how limited it was. The idea of AI that just responds to prompts and forgets everything between sessions will seem as antiquated as the idea of computers that could only do one calculation at a time. Let me talk about the infrastructure required to make this vision a reality. AI that thinks for itself is not just a software challenge. It requires enormous computational resources, specialized hardware, and new approaches to system architecture. The systems we are building require unprecedented amounts of computation. Training a single advanced AI model can require thousands of specialized chips running for months. Deploying these models to billions of users requires massive data centers distributed around the world. We have been making these investments for years. We have built some of the largest data centers in the world. We have developed our own custom silicon optimized for AI workloads. We have created new software frameworks that allow us to train and deploy models more efficiently than ever before. This infrastructure is a significant competitive advantage. Building data centers takes years. Developing custom chips takes years. Creating the software to tie it all together takes years. Companies that have not been making these investments are years behind. Let me talk about the competitive landscape. Multiple organizations are making rapid progress on autonomous AI. We are one of them. Several other major technology companies are investing heavily in this area. And there are startups and research labs around the world that are making important contributions. I believe we have significant advantages. We have the computational infrastructure to train and deploy these systems at scale. We have billions of users who can provide feedback and data to improve the systems. We have decades of experience building products that people actually use every day. But I am not complacent. I know that leadership in technology is never permanent. I know that the most important breakthroughs often come from unexpected places. I know that we have to keep pushing, keep innovating, keep questioning our assumptions. What I can promise is that we are going to build AI that thinks for itself in a way that is safe and beneficial and aligned with human values. We are going to take the time to get this right. We are not going to cut corners on safety to win a race. Let me discuss the broader societal implications. AI that thinks for itself is going to change the economy and society in fundamental ways. The most obvious implication is for employment. When AI can handle complex tasks autonomously, what happens to the humans who currently do those tasks? This is a question that worries many people. I believe the answer is nuanced. Some jobs will be eliminated, but historically, technology has created more jobs than it has destroyed. It has made humans more productive, which has created more wealth, which has enabled new industries and opportunities. The jobs of the future will be different from the jobs of today. They will involve more creativity, more empathy, more human judgment, more interpersonal connection. The tasks that AI can automate are precisely the tasks that humans often find tedious or unfulfilling. But the transition will not be easy. We need significant investment in education and retraining. The education system needs to adapt to prepare people for a world where AI handles many routine cognitive tasks. We also need to think carefully about how the benefits of AI are distributed. If autonomous AI dramatically increases productivity, who captures that value? If it all flows to the owners of AI companies, we will see massive increases in inequality. If it is shared more broadly, everyone can benefit. These are fundamentally political and social questions, not technical ones, but as someone building this technology, I feel a responsibility to engage with them. Another important implication is for privacy. AI that thinks for itself needs access to information to be effective. The more it knows about you, the better it can help you. But this creates obvious risks. We take privacy extremely seriously. The data that AI uses to personalize your experience belongs to you, not to us. We are building systems that keep your data secure, that give you control over how it is used, that minimize the amount of information that leaves your device. We are also developing new privacy-preserving techniques, methods that allow AI to learn from data without ever seeing the raw information. Methods that keep your sensitive data encrypted even while the AI is processing it. These are cutting-edge technical approaches that we are pioneering. But technology alone is not enough. We also need strong legal frameworks around data privacy. We need regulations that give individuals rights over their data. We are supportive of thoughtful regulation in this space. Let me also talk about the global implications of AI that thinks for itself. This technology is not being developed in a vacuum. Countries around the world are racing to develop advanced AI capabilities. The country or countries that lead in autonomous AI will have enormous economic and strategic advantages. The United States has significant strengths in this race. We have world-leading technology companies. We have the best universities for AI research. We have access to capital and talent that most countries cannot match. But we are not guaranteed to win. Other nations are investing heavily in AI. They are building their own capabilities. They are training their own researchers. The competition is intense. I believe that democratic values should be embedded in the AI systems that come to shape our world. That means AI developed in countries with strong traditions of individual rights and open inquiry. That means AI that respects privacy and promotes human autonomy. That means AI that is transparent and accountable. If AI that thinks for itself is developed primarily in countries without these values, the technology could be used for surveillance and control rather than empowerment and freedom. The stakes could not be higher. This is part of why I am so committed to this work. It is not just about building a successful company. It is about ensuring that the most powerful technology ever created reflects values I believe in. Values of human dignity and individual freedom and open inquiry. Let me share some specific examples of what AI that thinks for itself can accomplish today. These are not theoretical possibilities. These are things we're demonstrating in our labs right now. We have AI agents that can research complex topics, synthesizing information from dozens of sources, identifying the most credible and relevant material, and producing comprehensive reports. What would take a human researcher days takes the AI hours. We have AI agents that can manage complex projects, breaking them down into tasks, assigning those tasks to other AI agents or to humans, tracking progress, identifying bottlenecks, and keeping everything on schedule. They're like having a world-class project manager working around the clock. We have AI agents that can write and edit code, not just following instructions, but actually understanding what the software is supposed to do. Identifying bugs and inefficiencies, suggesting improvements, and implementing changes. They can turn vague requirements into working software. We have AI agents that can engage in complex negotiations, understanding the interests of different parties, proposing creative solutions, and working toward agreements that satisfy everyone. They can draft contracts and review legal documents with superhuman thoroughness. We have AI agents that can teach and tutor, adapting to each student's level and learning style, explaining concepts in multiple ways until they click, providing endless practice problems, and identifying exactly where a student is struggling. These are real capabilities that exist today in our research systems. We are working to make them more reliable, more capable, and more accessible. Within a few years, millions of people will have access to AI agents with these capabilities and more. I want to emphasize that all of this is built on a foundation of safety. Every capability I have described comes with extensive safeguards. The AI agents refuse to help with harmful activities. They are monitored for signs of misuse. They operate within defined boundaries. They require human approval for high-stakes decisions. Safety and capability are not in tension. They reinforce each other. Safe AI is useful AI. AI that people can trust is AI that people will actually use. We are building both together. Some people worry that AI that thinks for itself will take away human jobs. And yes, some jobs will be transformed or eliminated by this technology. That has been true of every major technological advance in history. The printing press eliminated the jobs of scribes. The automobile eliminated the jobs of buggy drivers. The computer eliminated many clerical and administrative jobs. But historically, technology has created more jobs than it has destroyed. It has made humans more productive, which has created more wealth, which has enabled new industries and new opportunities. I believe the same will be true of autonomous AI. The key is to manage the transition thoughtfully, to invest in education and retraining so that people can adapt to new roles, to ensure that the benefits of increased productivity are shared broadly, to create safety nets for those who are displaced during the transition. These are social and political challenges, not technological ones, but they are important, and we need to take them seriously. Some people worry that AI that thinks for itself will be manipulated by bad actors, that it will be used for fraud or harassment or disinformation or other harmful purposes. And yes, like any powerful technology, autonomous AI can be misused, but we are building extensive safeguards against misuse. The AI systems refuse to help with harmful activities. They are designed to be honest and to resist manipulation. They have monitoring systems that detect and flag suspicious behavior. And they operate within a broader ecosystem of laws and regulations and social norms that constrain what people can do with technology. I do not claim that we will prevent all misuse. No technology is perfectly safe. But I believe we can make autonomous AI safe enough to deploy responsibly. just as we have done with other powerful technologies like the internet and mobile phones. Some people worry that AI that thinks for itself will become so capable that humans become irrelevant, that we will create systems that are smarter than us in every way and that no longer need us. This is the fear of superintelligence that has captured so much popular imagination. I take this concern seriously, but I do not think it is imminent. The AI systems we are building today, and the ones we will build in the foreseeable future, are tools. Very capable tools, but tools nonetheless. They are good at specific tasks, but lack the general understanding and adaptability that humans have. They do not have desires or ambitions of their own. They do not seek power or resources. They exist to help humans. And that is what they do. Could this change in the future? Could we eventually build AI that is genuinely superhuman in its capabilities, perhaps? But we are a long way from that. And the safety work we are doing now, the alignment research we are conducting, the frameworks we are developing, all of this is preparation for that eventual future. We are building the knowledge and the tools and the institutions we will need to navigate superintelligence safely if and when it arrives. Let me close with a personal reflection on why this matters so much to me. I have been building technology for most of my adult life. I have seen how technology can connect people, empower individuals, create opportunities, solve problems. I have also seen how technology can be misused, how it can divide as well as connect, how it can create new problems even as it solves old ones. What motivates me is the belief that on balance, technology makes human lives better. Not automatically, not inevitably, but potentially. If we are thoughtful about how we build and deploy tech, if we are intentional about aligning it with human values, if we are committed to ensuring that its benefits are broadly shared, I that thinks for itself represents the most powerful technology humanity has ever created. It has the potential to amplify human capabilities to an unprecedented degree, to solve problems we have struggled with for generations, to create abundance and opportunity for billions of people. But realizing that potential requires wisdom and care. It requires thinking deeply about safety and alignment. It requires being transparent about what we are building and why. It requires engaging with critics and skeptics and incorporating their concerns into our work. I am committed to all of this, not because it is the easiest path, but because it is the right one. Not because it will maximize short-term profits, but because it will create long-term value for humanity. This is why I am building AI that thinks for itself, because I believe it is the most important thing I can do with my skills and resources, because I believe it will make the world better, because I believe we can do it safely and responsibly, and because I cannot imagine anything more exciting than being part of creating the future. The AI systems that think for themselves are coming. They are going to transform every industry, every profession, every aspect of human life. The question is not whether this transformation will happen. It is how it will happen and who will shape it. I intend to be one of the people shaping it, and I intend to shape it in a way that benefits humanity. That is why I am building AI that thinks for itself. That is the vision I am working toward every day. And that is what I invite you to understand and engage with and be part of. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we create. And the future we create depends on the choices we make today. I am choosing to build AI that thinks for itself. I am choosing to do it safely and responsibly. I am choosing to align it with human values and human flourishing. And I believe that when we look back in 20 years, in 50 years, in 100 years, this will be remembered as one of the most important choices humanity ever made. That is the opportunity we have. That is the responsibility we bear. And that is what drives me every single day. Let me share one final thought about what makes this moment in history so significant. We stand at an inflection point in the development of intelligence itself. For millions of years, intelligence on this planet was limited to biological human brains, animal brains, all running on the same basic hardware that evolution slowly developed over eons. Now, for the first time, we are creating a new kind of intelligence. An intelligence that runs on silicon instead of carbon. An intelligence that can be copied and distributed and scaled in ways that biological intelligence never could. An intelligence that can think for itself. This is not just another technology. This is not like the printing press or the automobile or the internet. This is something qualitatively different. We are creating minds that can think and reason and learn and act. Minds that can help us solve problems we have struggled with for generations. The significance of this moment is hard to overstate. Centuries from now, historians will look back at this period as one of the most important transitions in human history. The emergence of artificial minds that can truly think for themselves. The beginning of a partnership between human and artificial intelligence that will define the future of our civilization. I feel enormously privileged to be working on this at this moment in history, to be contributing to something so profound, to be helping shape how this technology develops and how it is used. But with that privilege comes enormous responsibility. Responsibility to get the safety right. Responsibility to ensure the benefits are broadly shared. Responsibility to be transparent and accountable. Responsibility to think carefully about the implications of what we are building. I take these responsibilities seriously. They guide every decision we make. They shape our research agenda. They inform our policies and practices. They determine who we partner with and how we deploy our technology. Building AI that thinks for itself is the most challenging and most important project I've ever worked on. It is also the most exciting, because if we get this right, we will have created something that can help humanity flourish in ways we can barely imagine. That is the vision that drives me. That is what gets me up in the morning. That is what keeps me working late into the night. And that is what I am inviting you to be part of. The future of intelligence is being written right now. The AI systems that will think for themselves are being created today. The choices we make in these crucial years will shape the trajectory of human civilization for centuries to come. I intend to make those choices wisely. I intend to build AI that truly benefits humanity. I intend to create a future where human and artificial intelligence work together to solve our greatest challenges and create unprecedented opportunity and flourishing. That is why I am building AI that thinks for itself. And that is the future I am working every day to create.